What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of Aiming Up with Kenneth and Trey. This is Trey. Here's Kenneth.
Kenneth, what's up?
Always. We're going to touch base, see how things went. We missed last week because of some things, and then we'll dive into today's topic. We'll go from there. How's everything going with you, man?
It's good. I'm gonna go on my honeymoon next week, and it's Wednesday. We leave on Monday, so I'm kind of in this mindset of what are all the what are all the consumable things that I need to get that I'm almost out of that I'm gonna run out of if I don't get them right now.
Right.
Um, so I just went to the supplement store and bought a bunch of stuff, and um, but I'm looking forward to the break and just being off my phone and
Yeah.
hanging out with Donna. We're gonna
Where
go
y'all going
Grenada.
to?
Grenada.
Okay.
It's St. George's, which is like if you look at the map, it's like just above the South American coast,
Okay.
like in the Caribbean. But it's a it's a decent flight, I would say. We fly from Raleigh to Miami, and then from Miami to Grenada. I think the time changes, and it's still like a 5 hour flight. Yeah. So,
Y'all going to be a
but
week down there?
yeah, Monday to Saturday,
Is it what, full resort food?
all inclusive. Yeah, it's sandals.
Oh, sweet.
So
That'll be fun.
yeah, when we were looking, there were, like if you look up best resort right now, that's the one that's the best apparently.
Yeah. Do they say is that a safe area? They say stay on the resort.
Oh yeah, no, it's like um, have you ever been to Jamaica?
Hmm.
Well, go to Jamaica.
Okay.
It's I'm yawning today. I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to apologize to everybody listening. Um, Jamaica is great. The beaches are wonderful. The people are really wonderful. But it is a third world country. So when you're driving from the airport to the um, resort, I mean, you'll see things you've never seen here in the States,
Right.
like little shanties and people living with their horses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and it's if you're in Kingston, which is I guess the capital, it's not really safe.
Yeah.
But uh, I went and did a couple of excursions, and it was fine. Um, if you look at the way that Grenada looks, it's it's exponentially nicer and cleaner. Um, it's a third world country, but it doesn't look as broken down as maybe Jamaica
It's not what
is.
you picture, like
So
third world.
yeah, so I have to kind of see once we get there. We're going to do some like excursions and stuff and see what's outside of the resort. But we have a decent room, and I'm excited, super excited about going.
Be fun. Yeah, it's
What about you?
nothing much, dude. We skipped last week because of the car wreck crap. So we're
Yeah,
still dealing with that. Um,
how's your head?
it's better, but like the headache has been off and on lingering now for like a week, well, week and a half now. And that could be the wreck, or it could be like I've been trying to play catch up because like I took most of Monday off because counselor recommended it, and I messaged you and Austin. Both of y'all recommended it. Valerie recommended resting too. Tuesday, I started feeling really off, and so I talked to Dave. We did our normal stuff, and then I went to the doctor. And I was
Did they
like,
diagnose you with a concussion?
"Dude, it was the biggest waste of an appointment." Like, they're like, "Hey, we can't get you in any scans. Like, we could think it most likely is, but we can't really diagnose. We'll do an X-ray and we'll do an MRI in a few weeks." I'm like, guys, like, okay, well, then let's just say it is. What should I do? And obviously rest. And they wanted to prescribe like muscle relaxers. And I'm like, I told them that she's like, "Are you on board with that?" I said, "No." And she's like, "Well, why?" I said, like, I'll just be frank. Like I used to be a past drug addict, so like I don't want to put anything in my body. And she's like, "Well, they're not physically addicting." I said, "I get that, but if I get feeling good, I will rely on them because that's how the last stuff happens. That's just how it works
Hmm.
for me. Is once I latch onto something, I can't stop. It literally could be anything. It's like when the
Ice
addiction,
cream.
it could be ice cream. It could be like, um, in the past, it's been movies, but certain scenes of movies, like after
Mm.
my wreck, I would just, in the past in 2018, I'd watch the same scenes of the movies. And it's been ever since my wreck. I'm sure it's something like neurological or neurotransmitter.
It's probably
It might be, this is what Valerie
traumatic brain
said.
injury.
Yeah, Valerie said that, but she also thinks that it's because I know what to expect. It's a safe thing to always know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's traumatic brain injury
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm going to talk about this till the cows come home with you. Ibogaine fixes
Oh,
uh,
I know. I know.
traumatic brain
Well,
injuries, and
so
you
when
know
I
what? My sister is there right now. She just got
doing it, oh,
dosed
she went and
yesterday.
went.
She just got dosed yesterday, so I checked in with her before she did it, and I asked her how she was doing. She was like, "I'm great." She was like, I'm just gonna have some downtime, read my Bible, and talk to God, and then I'll get dosed in the morning." Well, I texted Diane, who's the owner,
All right. Yeah.
who does the dosing, and I was like, "How's my sister doing?" She was like, "She's doing good." At one point in time, she was like, "What the hell did I sign up for? Like, I don't know what's going on here."
Yeah.
And Diane's response to her was, "You have to go through the darkness to get to the light."
Yeah.
And she said, but overall, she handled the experience and the process well.
Yeah.
And then so I probably wouldn't get to talk to her until
Probably 2 weeks.
uh no. So the treatment's done as of today. She is under what they call gray day right now.
Okay.
A gray day is the best way I can describe it is your brain is still processing and metabolizing the medicine.
Yeah.
When you take the medicine, you become a taxic. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So, for everybody that doesn't know, it's like your motor skills are weird. You're
Yeah.
shaky,
Yeah.
and you're not even really like physically shaky, but neurologically, you feel like you're vibrating, and you're not really vibrating, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
So, and it's really hard for you to like utilize your muscles fully. Um, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was a taxic, they have a nurse with you, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to help you to the bathroom." And I'm like, "The hell you are going to help me to the bathroom? I'm going to go to the bathroom myself." So being a bigger guy,
Yeah.
got up and walked to the bathroom myself without assistance. And my nurse, when it was all said and done, he was like, "Bro, I have never seen anybody will themselves from the bed to the bathroom the way that you did." He was like, "Just the sheer like muscle mass that you carry, it must have you've been able to do it." He said, "99% of the people can't do it."
Right.
So, um, anyway, you have to go through that, and you're still a little bit that way when you wake up the next day, and it feels like you're hungover, and you still feel weird like when you walk and stuff. So that's what she's probably experiencing today.
Oh, wow.
And depending on how unhealthy you are and how well you detox will determine how long it lasts.
Okay.
So if you have a person that's not detoxing well, it's like was one day turns into 3 days or a week. There was one guy that literally was in his bedroom, no lights, no TV, no nothing for a whole week because he couldn't deal with it. All he was doing was drinking water.
Did you send her with S detox factor?
No, I had her take some supplements before
Yeah,
since I'm coaching her. So this is going to be a little case study.
yeah,
You ever heard of neuropathy
yeah,
from insulin resistance?
yeah,
Just insulin resistance.
yeah,
So she's got insulin resistance, and she's got some neuropathy in her feet,
yeah.
and I think a little bit in her hand. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Ibogaine is going to fix it. So if you think about it, that neuropathy is what a neurological. It's
Yeah,
like your nerves are
yeah,
dying
yeah,
essentially. So you have to either take a lot of antioxidants to sort of support that the oxidative stress in and around that.
yeah.
I think like ALA or something.
You can do like
And
PA, pycnogenol, things like that. Yeah,
yeah, but ultimately, like all these different things that you could take, I've read some studies where it's like, okay, 6 months from now, she'll be fine. But I wonder because the brain, when it heals the brain, it actually turns back the clock on the age of the brain. And they've had cases where certain like people with PTSD or um, traumatic brain injury walk in and they're walking with a cane. They walk out without the cane
interesting.
because it
Hmm.
heals the brain.
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens with old Lindsay when she gets back.
yeah,
But if she got feeling back in her feet, then that's pretty cool.
yeah. Maybe one day. All I did was, what was I doing? 2 grams of NAC twice a day. So I was doing 4 grams, shit ton of PEA, curcumin, some pycnogenol, and some GHK, and it's helped. And then like wearing my glasses and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but we'll see. I mean,
4,000 milligrams of NAC.
look it up, dude. They used it with actual TBI and concussion. Yeah, look into it. It's
No
actually interesting
kidding.
stuff. Yeah. I there's another coach, he was in the hospital for the concussion shit, and I shot him a text. So I just told him I was praying. We don't really talk, but I was just saying, "Hey, dude, sorry to hear that. I'm praying for you." Here's some. I actually need to text him back today because I forgot to send brands,
Were
but
you in a halo like him?
mm, no, no, I didn't. I was fine. I didn't even go to the hospital or anything. I was all cool.
He
I
lost some feeling and stuff in his feet. It was
I was
like it
everything.
was serious. Like it was a
Yeah.
serious thing.
Yeah. And so I told him, I said, hey, like I obviously talked this over with your doctor, but I would recommend this. I got some brands, but yeah, there's really good stuff on like NAC with like TBIs, concussions,
So NAC and then PA and then
curcumin, pycnogenol, because that would work on oxidative stress as well.
so Jake talks about technology a lot, right? So
Huge
what?
fan.
So I know this isn't the
Mhm.
topic,
Mhm.
but let's talk about that. Like, what is your knowledge on it?
I mean, it depends on what you're going to use it for. Like, I really do think it's good for everything. It's just such a good antioxidant and great on oxidative stress. I'll use it with like pain management people. It's like severe back pain. Um, I'll use it for anything oxidative stress. If I think there's heart issues like plaque, I'll use that with Gotu-Kola. I think I talked about that one podcast with Austin. Jake uses it for like everything. That is one of the most common things he talks about outside of like black seed oil, but that's the different ways I use it. I've mainly been using it for anything like if I
What was
detect
the other one you said with plaque?
Gotu-Kola. There's a supplement. It's called Arterial Protect from Life Extension. And anyone like if they've got plaque, that's one thing I put on there. I used to give it to all my enhanced bodybuilders in the past.
Hmm.
That's something Austin gave me. It was like 20. It's whenever I started having my health scares, so it must have been like 2019. But you can use it with that. You can use pycnogenol for like Sometimes I'll use it if people have like extreme like menstrual pain. Um,
Yeah, I've done that before.
uh, anything oxidative stress, I'll put it in there. Like I have a lady that
And you just stay at like 150 milligrams.
50 to 150. Swanson does a good one that's like 150 milligrams, I think, per cap. And that's the one I was using. I happen to have some on hand. So I just threw in that. And then I had a little bit of Dave's GHK with PEA. So I finished that off. And it seemed to improve. Now I think the headaches is more like I've been playing catch up since I
Yeah,
took,
it's just stress related rather than.
yeah, stress and like obviously like I talked about on the other podcast with Austin, it's just business and things are so ebbs and
Up and
flows.
down.
And it's not just, I don't think it's just coaching. I think it's the economy. I truly do think we're in a recession and just no one's talking about
Hmm. Sure.
it. Because I'm seeing it in all industries. Like my dad's noticing it. I have a couple employees or a couple clients that run their own businesses. They're noticing it. My barber today was saying like he has clients that he works with that are all noticing it. And so I think a mix of that stress is probably why it's still lingering. But outside of that, man, nothing else is really going on. We can dive into the topic. So what we were going to do was part two, I guess, on what we talked last time, where we were going over like root causes of common issues that we see in clients, and we were more diving into like how much um, you're using like the three environments: mental, physical,
Hmm.
relationship environments, and how that leads to the common issues we see with clients. And then I felt like this one we can go more into the common
Specific
issues.
issues.
Yeah, go on specific issues, maybe give them some hypothetical things they could do with the disclaimer to everyone to still listen to the last episode and really dive into the mental.
Yeah, because you can do a protocol and it may not
Yeah.
it may
Yeah,
not do anything.
you still gotta do that stuff while doing this. This obviously can treat it, but it's like the example I always give clients at times, and we'll dive into it, is like I gave one to a client a few years ago. I was explaining like, hey, you really need to do trauma counseling and some of the family stuff she had told me. I said, listen, like you can't tell me that every time you see someone like let maybe they're a mom and because the client had lost their mom to suicide or overdose, I can't remember what it was. I said, you can't tell me every time you walk around and you see someone happy with their mom that that doesn't trigger something for you. So if you imagine you're doing that all the time and that creates some rumination, that's where we're in the stress, GI, stress hormone, stress, insert whatever cycle. And that's why the mental, physical, and spiritual relationship side are important. But at least in this one, we can dive into common things and doesn't even have protocols, but things that people could implement while they're doing stuff in the back end. Because yes, the original root cause stuff is important, but also addressing the issue at hand is important because if they're always experiencing a symptom, they're still going to be stressed about the symptom, even if we're doing the back end stuff. So I figured we could ping pong different stuff we see, maybe what we see across our desk, bounce ideas, what we do with those cases, and then just go from there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
Uh,
I'll let you start because you,
well, the one that I see the most with women is estrogen dominance,
yeah,
um, and some sort of gut issue.
yeah,
That's usually like hand in hand. I don't know. So for me, this is the way I see it go. I don't, and maybe this is a far-reaching thing, but you can correct me because you know better. He does know better. He's shy about it, but he does. So I think when it comes to women, I use this analogy where it's like, okay, well, say you're married or you're dating or something, and you guys are out in the woods and it's a great day, and you're getting ready to make out and get it on in the woods. And all of a sudden, a grizzly bear comes over the ridge and he wants to eat you. You're not going to finish. well, you started with your significant other, you're going to run. And so, like, you don't have to think, oh, let's don't do this now. We've got to run from the bear. It's an immediate, we're running from
Yeah.
the bear, and you might have your pants off. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, you don't have the forethought to like fix anything.
Yeah.
You're reacting to the situation. So, the proverbial grizzly bear, let's say it's your phone, because that's probably been my grizzly bear
Recently.
this week. Um, so if that analogy works, and you're on your phone and you're consuming bad stuff, and then your body immediately thinks we're in fight or flight. Um, to upkeep sex hormones is a process that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a downregulation of progesterone first, usually.
Pregnenolone. Yeah. Use pregnenolone first. Yep.
Right, sure. But overall, like
It's gonna be progesterone. Yep.
when you look at labs, you're going to see progesterone dip.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll see testosterone, but usually it's progesterone, then testosterone, then estrogen.
Estrogen.
Is
Yes.
that what you see?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, you're
Okay,
always gonna see progesterone, and you might throw a DHEA in there. I'd probably see DHEA before I see testosterone.
yeah, you're right, because
The
that would
adrenal side, stress side.
yes, that would show you the adrenal side. So, um, so when I look at this common pattern, it's like, okay, you don't even have to run the lab sometimes.
Yeah.
You just ask certain questions, and you're like, okay, it's not easy for you to lose body fat. That's why you're with me.
Yeah.
There's one. Your sex drive is meh.
Yeah.
There's another one. You feel like crap. That's probably a sign. There's a lot of signs that there's just this down regulation of sex hormones that's happening. But on the other side of that is an increase in waking cortisol.
Yep.
Right? Do you ever see it? Here's the thing. So I see waking cortisol being high, and then all of a sudden progesterone is dipping, and all the other ones fall suit. However, what if you're low here and we're like at the right range here? What can we assume? It's probably on the way down,
Yeah.
right? So, like, my assumption every time I see somebody who I know is extremely stressed with a waking cortisol of 10, it's like, okay, well, you're probably just on the way down to complete adrenal insufficiency.
100%.
And the only way to really know that is to test ACTH, I guess. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean,
Because that would be the other part of the loop.
yeah, yeah. Because if they had true like Addison's or adrenal insufficiency, you see
Right.
ACTH like off.
Right. It would dip.
Yeah. Um, I don't pull ACTH as much
I
anymore.
don't either.
I sometimes do. I have a couple guys, couple gals, because I have a client that we actually got him diagnosed with Addison's by pulling it. Um,
I have a client right now that I'm working with. We just pulled ACTH and it's functionally low.
yeah, yeah. So
So
he's on the verge. Get his
yeah.
life together, get it corrected. I think my only caveat with that is I don't personally use the cortisol ever. I pull it, it's interesting, but I've seen it so many times it's not matching. So, like, an example is if I see your cortisol's a 33, but that time of the day I know you're dead ass tired, I'm really going to take that with a grain of salt. I've seen it too many times where, like, the guy with Addison's, his cortisol numbers was perfect. Nothing. Like, and the reason why I detected it, his sodium was like 119, 120. His potassium
Oh
was up.
yeah. Right.
And he had shot me that. I said, dude, we had just started working together. We're like a week and a half into working together. And I was like, hey, dude, like, you need to go to the doctor. Like, something's not right here. And he actually went to the emergency room and He was texting me at like 2 in the morning. I'm up like aggressively, like, hey, test this, test this. They didn't even know what an ACTH was
I bet.
at the hospital, and they pulled it and they're like, holy shit, this is what it is. And I said, hey, you can't, but if you're doing, because they're trying to do electrolytes and he's hydrated, I said, you got to tell him to do a very, very slow drip. Like, you're going to potentially run into so much crap. And since then, he's been pretty steady. I mean, we still have a lot of work to do.
Was
Um,
he like sort of at that critical level where like it
he's
could
on
be a major
meds.
problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on meds the rest of his life. We've got his meds lower. He's like one of the only GI maps I've seen that almost every single thing in terms of like opportunistic bacteria showed up red. Every
So it was like it was adrenal crisis is what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the only times I have one other client right now that I'm borderline like, hey, I'm not going to work with.
That's what I think. That's what I think this girl is.
Yeah.
That I have a suspicion. Um,
But if we go back to
but
the hormone stuff, 100%, you're seeing the same things. You might see the electrolytes off, but I would say um, probably start noticing maybe they're storing more fat around their hips and their
yeah,
glutes. Maybe they're struggling to get up. Maybe their cycles are absolutely miserable. I think when people hear estrogen dominance, though, they're just always like, oh, like their progesterone's fine, and they're always thinking their estrogen's really high, and that's not the case. It literally can just be a off in the ratio. It can just be you don't take
it's the
progesterone,
ratio,
and if you
right?
keep that up, yeah, the rest of your sex hormones are going to follow suit, and this is why we're seeing so many females that are now on like testosterone, DHEA, and they're on progesterone. Some are even on estradiol, and so that's why you see people that have like hysterectomies and menopause that they might be on all of that, and it probably led
Right.
from that. I agree. I think that's a common thing. I'm always big about like digging into what is driving it. I think stress is usually root cause, and maybe poor detox is another one. Um, let's keep riding out this estrogen part, and then we can keep going. What do you normally do in those scenarios? Like, what are some applicable? Let's make it this way. Like, what are some applicable things that either let's use potential people listening could apply if they felt there's estrogen dominance? And what I would use to quote estrogen dominance would be progesterone really low, estrogen really high, or one or the other, or
Let's just let's pick a couple because like I don't know that I would do the same. I don't know. Like if estrogen was high but progesterone was fine, I probably would do something different.
you'd be different. So okay, so let's do this scenario. Do estrogens high? Hypothetically, beta glucuronidase would be high, most likely. And let's say progesterone is normal. How would you approach that? What is an applicable thing someone could do if I do
Um,
that? Obviously, going into
Extra
root cause.
factor with pure factor formulations.
Which
Discount code Foundry.
what is in that? Okay, what is in that?
Oh, actually, let me pull it up because I know there's dim and I think
It
there's
should be DIM.
calcium.
It should be CDG. I think choline's in there.
Oh, I'll double check because
Uh, probably B12 is in
um,
there.
all right. So
NAC.
calcium, 62 milligrams, NAC, 500 milligrams, and calcium D-gluconate, 500 milligrams, and then DIM, 300 milligrams, and then estrogen for bioavailability. Um, so yeah, that's what I would
That's what
do.
you do. All right.
Um, and the other thing too, like sometimes I'll throw in like juice for their carbs
Hmm. Yeah.
to kind of stimulate their liver.
Yeah.
Um, and that usually helps a lot. And, you know, that usually helps with their motility too.
Yeah.
Um, so, but that would be a really simple thing. However, if you're at that place, that probably isn't the extent of what you're going to have to do would be my assessment.
Right. Yeah, like because obviously like they need to dig into deeper like what is going on. There's probably going to be more to it. I
But
guess I
that's
would
a
do so
simple thing.
yeah, I would do something similar.
I mean, I'd probably do higher doses.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to tell you. What I normally do
So
is
the let me just say, calcium degluconate, I probably run like 2,000 milligrams, something like that, just higher.
yeah.
Um, I dim. I've never ran it over 600 milligrams unless you see a need for that. I don't know,
No. Mm-mm.
but I don't even know why they have NAC
Well, so it's for
when
phase
you.
one, phase two liver detox.
Yeah,
So
but you would.
you
I would
need
dose it
way
higher than
more.
that.
You need way more NAC. Yeah. Because what I was going to
Yeah, I would
say,
dose it way higher than that.
what I typically do is I'll dose NAC at 2,400 milligrams. I'll do
That's what I do.
24 a day.
That's
Then
what I
I'll
do.
go calcium deglucarate. I'll usually do 1,500 twice per day.
Yeah, mine's 2,000 in the morning and the evening.
Yeah, and then I'll have them because I can't remember the research, but for whatever reason, calcium glucarate has to be in an acidic environment. So I will have them take that when they take apple cider vinegar.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
well,
I will
that's snazzy to know that.
snazzy. Yeah, I can't remember the data. It's been a long time since I looked into it. I can't remember why off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I trust you. It's not uncomfortable.
And then I will have them, if possible, when they're using that. And this, let's say their beta glucuronidase was like really high. And obviously, if there might be GI and stuff going on there, but let's just say we're
Yes,
focusing on this part. If they're doing that, I will see if there's any way possible they can do something that's going to get them sweating. So maybe it's sauna, maybe it's sitting outside if it's hot, maybe it's working out.
to
I'll have them
increase
do that.
evacuation.
Yep. And then, so you're covering phase one, phase two, liver detox with the NAC. You're covering some of the estrogen metabolism. You've got it in an acidic environment. And then my biggest thing is making sure they're actually excreting. So usually I might throw in some ginger or something to make sure you go in the bathroom. Because let's say they're constipated and they're not detoxing, then that's obviously an issue. I'll do
That's
that.
usually what's going on with these
Yeah.
estrogen dominant girls.
So I'll throw that in there and I might maybe to get them going, maybe it's doing ginger or IBR gas if I need something more aggressive. Maybe it's using like hydrogen.
Yeah, I used that one time for myself, and it wasn't as effective as I thought it would be.
I it's hit or miss. And the amount do
On
you know
the
how much?
individual,
Yeah, do you know how much you used?
maybe like 2 capsules.
Uh, I don't know what the capsules are, but the way I dose it is it's got to be 60 drops. I use a droppers.
Oh, well, let me. All right, so let's look that up. I want to go off on a tangent because
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Gas.
I always use
Okay.
the liquid. Um,
Okay. So the liquid drops, and what's a serving? So I think this. So this is something else I want to talk about. A serving is 20 drops.
yep. So I do three
All
times.
right.
I do.
So this is something I figured out. Um, a client slash coach that I'm kind of helping. She even sent you a message last
I was
night.
going to ask you, is it the one that?
Yeah, she sent you a message. So she was asking about, she's like, where do you get your information from? I was like, well, I have really, really close friends, really close colleagues that like, if I have something that's completely just stumping me, then sometimes I'll pay them from a consult for a consult, or sometimes I'll be like, hey, I know we talked about this supplement like I did last night. Where do you get it from? And um, it was pomegranate husk
Yeah.
is what we were talking about. And so when I drew up her gut protocol, uh, her other half is also in the industry.
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Yes.
I
So
thought,
her other half is in
yeah.
the industry.
Yeah.
And she told me, so she's got some things with her gut that are also things that he has, if you know
Oh,
what I mean.
okay. Yeah.
But we don't know that for sure because said person won't get a GI mat. So I'm doing an Austin. I'm throwing it at the wall.
See
Just
what it
to see
says.
if it'll stick. so, so what I threw a bunch of stuff in there and I dosed it the way that we dose things, like you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? It's because, like, if you look at estro factor, and I brought estro factor up because that's what just popped in my
Yeah.
head. Because I was actually talking to Patrick about it today. I was in his store and he was asking about, well, why don't you just have that client do estro factor? And I was like, 'cause it's not dosed enough. And he was like, but if this, and I was like, it's still not dosed enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, to get to the point, in this particular case with the ibergas, where Trey is using it to increase motility,
Yeah.
one dose isn't going to do anything,
Yeah.
really. I mean, I took 2 capsules and I was
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
nothing. It was nothing.
I don't know what the
So,
comparison is with the liquid. I've never looked at the capsules, but 60 drops. Yeah. So if two caps is equal to one serving of
and you're
that.
putting in water, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. And when the way I'll
So,
do it, well, I'll let you finish. You're
do you spread it throughout the day?
good. Depends. If I'm thinking solely motility,
Yeah.
I'll do 60 drops before bed
Oh, okay.
and hopes they
That
excrete
makes sense.
in the
Yeah, in the
morning.
morning.
Yeah. If we're trying to get
Austin
some of
used to do that with me a little bit. So,
the
my first gut protocol with Austin, he he put magnesium
citrate,
citrate at like 800 milligrams right before bed,
should go to the
and then
bathroom.
I would wake up and I would go to the
Yep.
bathroom, no problem.
So I'll do the Iberogast, 60 drops. If I'm trying to get other benefits with like the bloating and reflux stuff like that, then maybe I'll do it spread out. Maybe I'll do 20 drops before each meal. If we're talking straight motility, I'll do that. Or if I'm trying to get other benefits, because I'm hit or miss on the Iberogast on whether I use it or not. The other thing I'll do is very high dose of ginger, and I'll do like 1,000
That's what I
milligrams
do.
twice per day.
Right.
And I'll usually do like the extract, and I'll do it AM and PM, or I might just do it all PM. If I'm trying to get motility, I'll do that way. And then, because that's motility, like we have to assume maybe that's part of why they're not excreting. Or is there other things like deficiencies of like magnesium? Is that part of it? Then maybe we need to bring in some like magnesium citrate. And in those cases, I'm still looking.
Man, you're gonna get on. I got another one. I
Yeah.
got another one.
Yeah.
But finish what you're saying.
So I'll throw that in there, and then I'm gonna look at diet. Okay, where can I get things going? And I'm usually gonna throw in 2 to 3 whole kiwi a day, and then at that point, in theory, they should be going to the bathroom without getting too complex. And that's without getting too deep. That's if we're like, hey, we're gonna treat the markers where they are showing signs of estrogen dominance. We're not worrying too much about the GI. We're doing old school, what bodybuilding was before it got into the functional stuff while they're working on the back end. That is, in theory, what I would do in those cases. Do I ever do it that way? Hit or miss. Hit or
I
miss.
had to do it that way recently.
Yeah.
But now I've talked her into a gut protocol
Yeah.
because it just gets to a place where
Yeah.
it's just not tenable.
Yeah.
Um, you can, we had an initial drop, you
Yeah.
know, and then that initial drop has kind of sustained. And it's like, well, we never really addressed the root issue.
Right.
The root issue is overgrowth for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot my thing. I forgot what I was going to
I was gonna
say.
say, yeah, what was the other thing?
Oh, man, that's right.
We're talking about constipation. Well, a little bit. I was talking about the kiwi and doing the ginger. Or magnesium is what I was talking about. That's what,
Oh, magnesium.
yeah.
So this is another thing: headaches with girls and estrogen dominance. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
So electrolytes, usually have to give them electrolytes. Um, usually have to give them magnesium, but like a high dose. of magnesium.
Yes, I do high dose the week, a few days before their period, during their period, a few days after. So I'll use
Right.
their normal dose and I say, hey, during this time, bump your dose up.
But here's the question. This is another thing that we haven't talked about. So cortisol is high. They're a stressed out person. Cortisol goes up. What goes down? Magnesium.
Yep.
So, well, you say you have a baseline, and I've got a little pointer here. The baseline's here. And then when somebody's really stressed, it drops down to a deficiency, right? Down here, down at the bottom. And then let's say they have a normal dose of magnesium and they're just below the baseline still because they're still stressed.
Yeah.
So they're actually not getting enough magnesium
Correct.
without having to overdose it. And then if you go to Google overdose, it's like, oh my gosh, there's all kinds of things that can happen to you.
Right.
And but really, there's a lot of times where I'll dose a female like 1,000 milligrams of magnesium when it comes to a headache.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and ginger is also another thing that I'll do with that. So salt, magnesium, ginger. What was the other one? I know you're going to know it. There's another one.
Quercetin.
What would you for headaches?
All right. So I guess it really depends on what's causing it. Let's say it's around their cycle. That's probably when they're going
Yeah,
to.
sure.
Let's say it's
Well,
most
sometimes,
likely,
yeah, yeah, sure.
or let's make it easier, not around your cycle. Let's say it's related to estrogen. Obviously, there's a large part of it that histamine is going to be responsible for.
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
going to be a large part of it. And
Oh, quercetin.
yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Quercetin.
Um,
And so if you do those three things, man, that headache goes away.
yep. And so, um, one, I'll pay attention when it happens. Is it happening pre-period? Is it happening ovulation? Um, I can't remember off the top of my head, but histamine will spike. It's twice. There's 2 points of the cycle where histamine will be off, because it's 2 times when estrogen's at the highest. And I think that that is ovulation and right before the period. So I'll do similar things. I will, and it depends. I'll usually might have like a cyclic plan we use. So like an example is if I notice there's certain times of our cycle where we know this is going to happen, and let's say we're already working on whatever it is, it might be okay during this time pre-period or ovulation, we're going to go low FODMAP or low histamine diet. Might do that. I might would still be addressing whatever is causing the hypothetical histamine or inflammation issue if that was related to the estrogen side, which it is. It might mean supporting progesterone as well, whether it's like Vitex or identical progesterone. Most of the time, I don't do the Vitex, if I'm frank with you. I'm
I
already,
don't either.
yeah. I mean, that's not my first pull as a better yet, because usually initially I'm already gonna be doing the stuff we're talking about with someone, and if I pull
Hmm.
labs, I see like progesterone's still pretty crappy, and say they're having period pain, and maybe they don't want to go the route of like bioidentical progesterone, or I want to give them a little bit of support, then maybe yeah, Vitex might be something I use, but it's not the first thing I opt for. I'll already be supporting like estrogen clearance, like B vitamins will already be in there. Let's say calcium and glucarate was already in there, and then the quercetin. Usually, if I think it's GI related in the first place, quercetin's already going to be in there. PEA is already going to be in there. That works on migraines and headache as well. And then curcumin will usually be in there as well. And then the same thing, like bumping up the magnesium. But the way I've been doing it as of late, and if I'm addressing just the symptoms, is right before their period, I'll have them bump up their magnesium, maybe double the dose of what they're already doing. Do that during, do it right after. After that, though, I always pull them off. There's sometimes they've left it in there, and they're like, hey, now all of a sudden I got really bad diarrhea. And it's like, yeah, because you don't freaking need that much magnesium now. So you need to pull back.
Yeah, right.
Because you can get diarrhea from any magnesium. It's not just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
you're right.
magnesium. And so I'll
Right.
do that. And then there's times I'll use quercetin and bromelain or quercetin PEA a few days before, just so we aren't
Yeah,
helping with histamine during
yeah,
and after. It might be I'd have them do it 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. The
yeah.
B vitamins is usually already in there. And then maybe I throw in CDG or maybe they're already on it. That's kind of how I've been doing it. I have a couple gals that we've only been doing it with the magnesium. So kind of covered everywhere else. Uh,
That's what that honestly, like if Donna has a headache,
mhm,
I just give her so Deal supplements has 500 milligram
mhm.
magnesium, and I just give her two.
Yeah,
If I give her those, then she automatically her headache almost always goes away. That honestly is the same thing with Landon. So sometimes, so we have a problem in our house. They're not hydrated individuals,
yeah, uh,
and when you're not hydrated, that's a problem too.
yeah,
But say if I get the water up, they also kind of run high in certain situations with anxiety,
yeah,
just certain situations. It's not an all the time thing.
yeah,
But if I know we're in a situation that causes high anxiety for both of them, then I know that their magnesium levels are
right.
probably in the dirt. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll do that with
you know,
Mallory, and
yeah.
then I push up pretty high PEA. That's like the one of the main things we always keep in the house.
So we do too. It's interesting though. I see. I'll give you a great example. This morning, Landon's he's got Invisalign,
Already?
and
Wow. I didn't even know they do that young.
oh, dude, like
Wow.
his teeth are so much better.
Yeah.
It's wild, bro. Like I think I was getting braces at like 11 or 12 or something, and I had to wear them for like 2 or 3 years, and like I had to have like the rubber bands and all that
Oh, you
stuff.
had to have bands and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's got Invisalign, and he has to change the trays out every week,
Yeah.
and so he had his recent appointment like on Monday, but they changed the tray on Monday instead of Thursday, which is the normal day. So he jumped ahead. Well, when he jumped ahead, it was kind of hard to
So he forced it
put
on.
it on. So they forced it on, and it's really moved his teeth significantly in this last uh,
It's
time.
too
But
fast.
it caused a lot of pain in
Hey,
his
yeah.
like his front teeth, and it was sort of a little case study for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me see if I can give him heel factor because heel factor has got curcumin,
Nice.
boswellia, it's got PEA in it, and
Yeah.
it's got all those things. And I gave him that, and I was like, you may or may not see relief.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when I got a headache or something, and I try to just take that, it doesn't really do much. I don't know if it's maybe we can dive into that. I don't know, but it was 10 minutes later, and he was like, Kenneth, my teeth don't hurt. This is great. And so so the PEA in particular, I think it's the new version where I think the dose is at like 800 or
Like
something
eight
like
or
that.
900, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you dose it that high, I'm assuming that's probably the sweet spot.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I always dose it, bare minimum dosage that I give people is 12 to 1800 milligrams. So it's really high. And that's why I don't always use I like it. I like it if I'm trying to keep
Yeah.
teeth
Yeah. Yeah.
straight.
Yeah. I don't always
Um,
either, but in this particular case
yeah.
with Landon, it was the easiest thing to pick,
Well,
to choose.
with his size, that's more than enough. For you or me, we need a lot. So
Right.
what I'll do is like with my headaches and stuff, I've been doing 600 milligrams 4 times per day. So that's what 2400.
Yes.
And then I've been doing 1500 milligrams of curcumin 3 times per day. And that's a shit ton of Mariba curcumin. Um,
Yes.
but it works. Um, But I think most people at 1200, 1800 is playing with that. That's the thing here. And my whole thing is like with the supplements in general, is things are getting harder to correct if you are going to get the supplement route, which means you have
Right.
to use more, unfortunately.
Right.
The days and times, I mean, if you think back to like old SIBO protocols, like when Austin was
Right.
talking about that stuff, what were people doing? They were saying, oh, okay, do 450 milligrams of Allison 2 to 3 times a day, do 500 milligrams of berberine 2 to 3 times a day. I'm sorry, that's not going to do diddly nowadays. Maybe if you have minor stuff, but if there's like aggressive, you need to push harder, you probably need more. Um, and I think there's more extreme issues where you do need more. It's the same thing with like the calcium glucarate. I don't personally think 500 to 1500 is going to do diddly. I really do think you have to use more. And that's why, like, Austin and I will sometimes use powder and we'll do it by the scoop if it's like extreme, like estrogen dominance or high beta glucuronidase or stuff like that. Because you can have like super high beta glucuronidase and not have estrogen dominance as well. As well.
Right.
So I guess that's a couple ways you can address things. Other stuff. So we did those two. And then we,
And that's surface level stuff.
yeah, you can do surface level stuff. I mean, I guess like a couple other things. I'm trying to think. Um, I don't want to get too in the weeds because it could take forever to go into, but I think you could really do like um I mean I would say the most common one I run into is um constipation, reflux
Yes.
with everyone. So we can do the constipation one real quick. So like 9 times out of 10, I don't personally feel it's a fiber issue. I don't think it's an issue of they're not getting enough fiber. I think it's usually an issue of too much fiber. They're throwing psyllium husk in there like crazy. They're using their fiber lies and everything like that. I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I personally don't. So what I do is, okay, what are the low hanging fruits? And this is where the stress side comes into play. Is hydration is usually going to be one of them. And hydration is more than just water. It's not, I'm gonna drink 5 gallons of water and go to the bathroom. It doesn't work that way. If anything, you're gonna make yourself more dehydrated from an electrolyte standpoint. So I think it's water. It's getting plenty of electrolytes now, and that can be salt, potassium, chloride, magnesium, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so if you went the stress and adrenal route, if you are dumping, and I say this because I have a client now that he's been noticing constipation. He's got some adrenal stuff we've been working through for like the past year or so, and severely dehydrated. Like potassium, I think it was in a 5. His sodium was super low, and we're talking. And he's a coach too. And he mentors with different individuals, and I always do this when I do consults with coaches or their client or their coach. I do ask them like, "What are you seeing?" Like, because I want you to
Right.
learn at the same time. He's like, well, like obviously dehydration. I said, so think about this. So like, do you think this is why you're constipated? Because he was on the verge of should we do a GI map or not? I was like, I don't see a reason to do a GI map. You can, I'll help you pay for it. And we can do it and just make sure nothing's wrong. But this is a dehydration issue. And I asked him, I said, I'm curious, how many times do you go to the bathroom? He's like, oh, I pee probably 15 to 20 times a day. I said, are they long pees or little trinkles? He's like, no, they're long pees. I said, that's why I'm telling you, this is all driven from the stress adrenal side. You are just dumping out everything, and you're not getting enough electrolytes in to even be hydrated to pass a bowel movement. Um, so that could be one possible thing is maybe the water out. Um,
That's that's a lot of the so let me unpack on just in my house,
yep,
right? And so when Donna and I met and we started to date, I'd come over and we'd be watching TV or something. I noticed this woman and had a glass of water and we spent hours and hours
right.
of not drinking anything. And then when we finally like started getting serious, I just noticed I was like, she didn't drink any water ever. And she was having major GI issues. And she was estrogen dominant, and she had all these issues going on, and like the migraines were a huge thing too.
Yeah.
And for all you coaches out there, if you're listening to this and want to be a better coach, get a messed up spouse. Get a dysfunctional
Yeah.
spouse from a health perspective, because it'll drive you to become a better coach. You'll want to fast track your knowledge on certain things. But to get to the point, when I got her water up, the first thing she said to me, I didn't realize how bad I felt when I was so dehydrated.
Yeah.
I feel so like, and now all she does is drink electrolyte water.
Yep.
And so it's a big issue. And even if you're like, man, I'm drinking nothing but electrolyte water, you're going to pee out the excess.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. The hydration stuff, electrolytes, salt in your food, plenty of like potassium in the diet, plenty of magnesium, maybe in the diet, but you probably
Right.
have to take your magnesium. That's one. Other like low hanging fruit things you can do is like the kiwi thing. I always tell everybody that 2 to 3 kiwis a day. Keep the skin on. That's where all the good stuff is at. Um, Aloe is something I might do 2 to 4 ounces
Yeah.
twice per day. But again, that goes deeper. Are you going to the bathroom because aloe is a laxative?
Yeah.
Maybe. Are you going to the bathroom because maybe the constipation, this is goes back to root cause, is the constipation due to thyroid, and aloe can work on thyroid antibodies and help the thyroid. And so you're in theory going to the bathroom because the
Ooh.
thyroid's improving.
Ooh. See, this is why you're the
So like
guy.
so you like you
This is
got
why
that.
you're the guy right here. That right there. And that just blew everybody's
Yeah.
mind.
So like you have like the aloe, or is the issue where if we give in to the magnesium stuff, like I'll have people where we'll use motility support. They won't go to the bathroom. I'm like, cool, we're gonna because I'm always about trialing one thing at a time and see what it is. And if all of a sudden I bump up your magnesium, you go in the bathroom, okay, clearly this goes back to the stress, magnesium related things. And that's something like a trick that I know Austin will do. I'll do as well. If somebody reaches out for potential coaching, I'll be like, hey, like before we start or do anything, just get this, bump up your magnesium, let me know. A few days. I'm going to the bathroom right away. I'm fixed. I'm like, cool. You didn't really need me. Fine. Go on your way. Reach out if you need anything else, or if you want to start. So those are a few things you can do. If you needed to get more technical, this is where it'd go deeper, and this would really depend on like, okay, is there actual GI issue that's causing constipation? Is that an issue where maybe it's methane dominant bacteria? I don't like using the word SIBO because I really don't think there's a good way to diagnose SIBO. I think the breath tests are hit or miss. I think the GI maps.
They're crap.
But let's use the term there's bacteria issues is leading to it. Okay, then maybe we need to address that. And that digs deeper. Okay, what is the problem? Is it methane related? Is it bacteria related? So you got that part. Other things is okay, is it the motility? Easy things people would do is cook ginger with their food, or throw ginger in the diet, or throw in ginger extract, or ibergas, or ginger tea. Um, is it an issue of,
So let me ask you the question.
yeah.
If you were constipated,
So here's the thing for me. I'm chronically constipated. I will say that.
that doesn't surprise me,
Yeah. But here's why.
because your stress level's so high all
Correct.
the time.
Yes. And this is why, like, I'll have clients and I'll have potential clients or current clients. They'll be like, and I'm sure you've got it. You've heard it before. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't feel what I'm going through. And here's the thing.
You know what I found though? I'm gonna just pause you.
Yeah.
A like attracts like.
Yes.
Your BS
Yeah.
is what you have to deal with your clients. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing with me.
Yeah.
So I have all these like, type A, high performing, like stressed out people who I'm like, what do I just give off this vibe that I'm the person that they need to come work
Right.
with? And then if I look really deep inside, I'm like, oh, that's kind of the root of who I am
Right.
too.
So I'll have clients like, hey, you don't know what I'm feeling. It's like, listen, guys, like, I don't always feel the best. I've taught myself to numb everything, and that's why I do so much counseling, is to try to do better there. That no, I'm usually am chronically constipated because I am so stressed. Now, is it because of stress only? That's part of it. The other part of it is I might eat once a day. Usually I will eat once a day. Is
Hmm.
it because I'm
Is
sitting
it
at
a decent meal or no?
Oh, it's always I always have like chicken or now it's like steak. Maybe we'll have potatoes, and then I always do a shit ton of fruit and fats. It's a decent meal. It's never like, oh, I'm gonna have cheeseburgers. It's always like I
Sure.
actually eat healthy now. I don't do the ice cream thing anymore, but back
Because
when
I
I
called
was
you
doing
out
that,
on it.
yeah, back when I was doing that, that was part of it. So it could be that. It could be the stress side. The other thing is I'm not the most active person because I'm usually at the desk. So it could be lack of activity. So
Yeah.
motility isn't even doing its thing. It could be I do run a pretty like my ALP is usually pretty trash. So I know there's a magnesium issue. It could be numerous things,
I wonder
but
why that is.
yeah, stress. But like, so like for me, I know what to do to fix it. It doesn't bother me because I'm used to it at this point. But I can tell you, like, a really good example is the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been working on habits and making myself a priority. That if I were constipated, were you going to ask what would I do? Like,
Yeah.
for me? Okay. Here's what I personally do. Make sure I'm drinking more than enough water. And this is the basics for every issue we talked about. These are the basics. More than enough water, more than enough fruit. I make sure to have two to three.
Can I pause you there just for 1 second?
Yeah.
What do you think the driving force is behind not drinking the water?
This isn't probably evidence-based or scientific at all.
Oh, I don't care. I want it
Yeah.
to be
I think,
anecdotal.
my opinion, I think we are all, not you and me, because I only drink water. I haven't had anything but water for 15 years because I don't like anything other than water. That's how I've always been since I was a kid. I think everyone is so used to things tasting good. And if they don't get those tastes and they don't get those, oh, I feel good and this tastes great, they don't want to do it. So there's no reason to do it. I
So you
think
think it's a neurological thing?
I think it's part neurological. I think they think it's boring. So it's not a soda or pop, whatever term. It's not a flavoring. It's not electrolyte. It's not fizzy. It's not a coffee or whatever. I think that is part of it. I think the other thing is if you haven't been drinking enough water or you have a history of not drinking water, you're probably going to struggle to get water in. And what does everyone always do? And these are some easy tricks you can do to get enough water. They're drinking ice cold water. And it's like, no offense, you're not going to drink much water if it's ice cold. Drink it room temperature a little bit warmer. You will get through a lot more. I think it's a mix of all of that, but I think the biggest thing is since it doesn't taste good or give that buzz or whatever it is, I think that is more what the problem is.
Right.
But what I tell everyone is first thing in the morning, 24 to 32 ounces of water, put some lime juice in there, put a pinch or two of salt, go on a freaking walk. Before you get on your phone, do that walk. Or if you're going to do your walk and you come back, do something that is for yourself that's not social media or work. And you're not to eat or do
Yeah.
anything until you do that. And then every hour you're up, most people are up 12 to 14 hours a day. You drink 6 to 8 ounces of water every hour, and eventually it'll become a habit. That's what I usually do with everyone. Um,
So here's a question too. Like you hit on something. The only reason I'm stopping is because like and these are kind of personal experiences that I'm
yeah.
having. Um, I put my phone in the bathroom.
Hmm.
Just for everybody that for anybody that's guessing because of I'm outing Trey here as being dysfunctional, guess who else is? Me.
All of us.
And I'm a lot less dysfunctional
Yeah.
now that I've been through this like healing journey that I've
Yeah.
been through. However, there are times where I still don't prioritize myself. And it can be almost a self-sabotaging thing. So for example, when I put my phone in my bathroom, it's great because I can go to bed after I read my devotionals, no problem.
Yeah.
But when I get up, what's the first thing we all normally do is go to the bathroom. Well, I'm usually tempted to look at my phone because this is the reality. Probably Matt Casano sent me some DM that's kind of funny that I want to look at
Right.
because he sends me a lot of funny stuff. Um, I might have an email that I'm kind of waiting on or something like that, and so like I have a tendency to sort of, you know, um, reach for my phone. Well, I decided that I'm not going to reach for my phone, and I did it for 3 days, and it changed the entire day for me. So I didn't know this, and this was a podcast or something I was listening to for a while ago. The brain waves that you have when you're waking up, I think, are theta brain waves. So
Okay.
it takes your brain a while to sort of wake up, but that those theta waves are important for the process of your brain sort of waking up. If you reach for your phone, it changes those waves into another wave that's kind of detrimental and throws you into stress. So that's really changed. When I do that, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of my day.
Well,
I don't know if you do
well,
that.
I was going to go into that. So I go more extreme. I have to use like the Brick app
Yeah, I
scanner.
told you about that app. Yeah.
Well, so I have it auto. It automatically bricks at 7 or 8 o'clock, and then all weekend it's bricked unless I go and unbrick it. Um, I do that, but I told you Church over the weekend they started a series on spiritual warfare, and he was talking about, okay, what are some ways that you can he wanted to make it applicable. I want to quote this right so I don't sound like a diddly. Um, where is it? There you go. He wanted to make it applicable, and it's like how can we fight the cultural movement of like spiritual warfare? And one of the first things he said was scripture before screens. So since
Ooh.
Monday, today's the first day I haven't read yet because we're having a pause in the devotional I've been doing with the guys I met in Montana for my trip.
Hmm.
I've still got to do it today. I'm gonna do it after this. Um, every morning I've been getting up. My phone is bricked. I don't get on my laptop or anything. Um, well, take it back. I don't get on my email or messages. I pull up my laptop to pull up. Have you ever heard of YouVersion?
Yeah.
So I get on there and the guys I met, we do a devotional on there. And I've been like not making time for it, but I was like, I really need to make time for this. It really needs to be a priority. I'm really trying to put God and my faith in the driver's seat and trying not to take control of everything. I think the wreck and just things in general are like, I really gotta, there's a reason why the wreck wasn't worse than it was. So I've got to take this serious. So what I'll do is I've been getting up, get my water. I take whatever my concoction of stuff I'll take in the mornings. Um, sit, do my devotional. We have a section where it's a discussion part. I'll drop how I'm applying that or where I need to apply it. Um, this one it was talking about, I can't remember what part of scripture it is. It is, um, what was it? I didn't write it down. It was part of the Bible where they're talking about like God is the vines or the branches for fruit or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
I don't remember what
Yeah.
part of the Bible it is. Um, so I do that. That's part of my morning. Next part of the morning is I started reading Matthew because, yeah, I still feel like I'm newer in my faith, like even though I've been into it for like 2 or 3 years. There's a lot of the Bible I haven't read. And it's something, the Bible is really hard for me to read because I don't have the highest reading level. Like I really struggle. I've always struggled with that. So I've been making,
Coming from the most intelligent man that I
yeah, it's
know.
weird. I was telling Valerie because I didn't learn how to read until like second or third grade. And in high school,
Huh.
I had a reading level of
That's
like a fourth
probably a
grader.
trauma response there,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah. Like in high school, I had a reading level of like a fourth grader. I really struggled.
Really?
Yeah. but I can do it.
That's gotta be a neurological thing.
Yeah, it's not a case where like I can't read, but it's like I read, I'm like, I don't even know what I read, and it's just really hard. And so after I do my devotional, I will read a chapter of Matthew, and then
Mhm.
have you ever heard of the Daily Stoic? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I'll read the day for that, and then I get my journal. I'll pray at the end or whatever, and then I'll write, okay, what three things am I grateful for today? And my rules are it can't be the same stuff every day. So like, for example, um, let's use the 29th. I put such and such and his family came to church Sunday because I was very emotional if that happened. Like I still get emotional because it's very
Oh my
important
gosh,
to
it's
me.
like
Yeah.
awesome.
And then the second one was the Montana group, them continuing to invite me to the devotional, even though I don't always show up and do that. They still invite me every week. They have a new one every 1 to 2 weeks, but they always include me, and that's important. And the second one was the opportunity to put Jesus in the driver's seat. Um,
Yeah.
and then I read the Daily Stoic, and then I write how can I apply that? And like that day it was talking about your actual needs are small. And I was reflecting on when me and Valerie used to really struggle financially during COVID. And I think I was like 100 grand in credit card debt and everything. I was like, wow, like,
Holy
yeah,
moly,
yeah,
girl.
20, 24, 25. That's how poor off I was and doing stupid stuff. But I was like, wow, like that is true. Like here I am thinking things aren't as good now because you have those highs in coaching. You're like, oh shit, I made 26 grand this month. Like
Yeah,
we're
right.
rolling, even though like to us, that's like life-changing money. Others it's like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But
Right.
but it was able to reflect. It's like, okay, even during those times when I was struggling, like I really don't need as much as I think I do. Like, and I
Hmm.
was able to reflect on that. And every day I've done that this week. I will do that. I will pray. I'm not the best prayer. It's really hard for me to do it because I get lost in my head and thoughts. So you start thinking about all
So,
these
all right. So
crazy.
let me give you something to think about with that,
Yeah.
because I used to be the same way.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking about like this grandiose way that you're going to talk to God, that you hear like maybe the pastor sounds like really great. You're like, man, I wish I sounded like that guy. Um, I read a book. It's called The Praying Life.
I have that
Um,
saved. Yeah.
the Praying Life. I think it's Donald Miller or something. I think he wrote the book. But anyway, he talks about prayer should be like when when you talk to God, it should feel like you're going to dinner with a close friend.
It's more like a
So
conversation more than anything.
yeah, but it's also like this. If you and I went to dinner and I was hungry and you were really hungry and we were sitting there eating
Yeah.
and we didn't really say a whole lot, and then like we might look up and be like, "Your food good?" You're like, "Yeah, it's good." It's kind of it's a relationship just like we have a relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, and this I'm getting off on a tangent, but I think this is important. So sometimes in that relationship, like, man, we might do the podcast. Like I get the benefit of doing the podcast with you today and tomorrow because I'm going to be gone next week.
Right.
And so I get to see your face and talk to you for 2 days. It's great. We're close friends, right?
Yeah.
But then there's some weeks where there's been months where we didn't talk.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Or if all we did was we texted.
Yep.
And then sometimes there's like you left a comment on my post and that was all I've heard of you.
Yep.
And like there's ebbs and flows to this relationship with God too.
Yep.
The closer you are to God, the more you pray. However, sometimes it's getting in your car and listening to praise music.
And
You know
that's
what I
what I
mean?
do. And that's
Yeah.
what, yeah. So, um, that's how I've done it. And that's why the Bible and stuff, because like I do want to learn more. Like I really do. Like that's something I've always wanted to do. Like all the books I buy, I genuinely, that's something I've always wanted to be able to do is read, enjoy reading, remember
Yeah.
it and do stuff. And I know Valerie gets tired of every time we get an Amazon delivery, like almost every week, there's a freaking book that's here. And she's like, great, another book you're not going to read. Because I have like five different books I'm reading at once right now, but that's just how my
Hmm.
brain works. But I did all that, and every single day, and we go straight to the bathroom, have a bowel movement. My day starts off fine. I've been calmer when I'm going through check-ins. I'm still like working later than I would like, but I felt more at peace. So
Right.
that
You
was,
are a more even keel.
yeah, like that's what I was gonna say is I do think routine is part of it if we go back to the constipation and just health in general. I
Yeah.
think the easy things everyone can apply for every single thing out, everything, no matter what the health is, and it's not going to hurt them. Something before screens. For us, it might be scripture, it might be a prayer, it might be,
Dude, it's just, let's just call it like it is.
yeah,
Scripture before
yeah,
screens, baby. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Like, I want
Do
that on my
something
t-shirt.
before
I think
screens.
it's great.
Yeah, do that. Before that, I still like after that, I think you should do something that is self-care and some type of routine. I really do think we all get on our screens too much too early in the day. Um, so let's
Meditation, prayer,
yeah,
whatever.
prayer, music, I don't know, take time to get ready for the day. And my counselor always says, like, win the morning, win the day. That's something I'm
Yeah, that's
trying
true.
to.
I mean, that is absolutely
So
true.
that's an
She's
easy,
absolutely
applicable
right.
thing. Next thing is just hydrate. Plenty of electrolytes, plenty of water. Third thing, like, if you're interested in reading, go read or listen to The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Focus on what is in your control when it comes to stress. You can't remove the stress, but you can improve how you address it or respond. Um, Fourth thing, if we're talking digestion, take the time to chew your food, be chilled out. You do not need to count your chews. You don't need to count 30 bites. I'm still seeing that crap being posted around. I firmly disagree with it. Fifth thing, make responsible choices with your nutrition. Sixth thing, get good sleep. If you do those, in my opinion, if you do those six things, there's no way you will not improve. That might not be enough for everyone to get over that hump, but it's enough that they are going to make progress. And notice I didn't say do more cardio, do more
Mhm.
training, take more supplements, because I feel like those combination things are the foundations of what everyone should do. No matter you're a healthy person or unhealthy person, I would argue all of us are unhealthy in some shape or form. Um,
100%.
that I think we all should do that. And that's truly the backbone of my coaching. And I'm sure it's with you as well, is that is the priority with everything. And then we sprinkle in the fun stuff that we're talking here. And the more we do the podcast, we can get into like specific stuff, so whatever else like that. Um, that to me are um, the easiest applicable things everyone can do,
Hmm.
no matter what the symptom or the issue or the lab work or what is going on.
Yeah, but we went over estrogen dominance
Yeah.
and constipation,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah.
That's all we were able to get through.
Yeah.
Can we just say one more?
One more. Which one do you want to do?
Oh, we talked about headaches.
Yeah.
That's a common one.
That's kind of,
Um, let's see. Hmm. I think this might go into like another topic. The biggest issue that I see, I probably have five clients right now that are just, I mean, just a delight. I mean, like anytime that I see a message from them, I'm like, let's go. This is gonna be great. Like they're just killing it right now.
yeah.
And most of the time they're women, like most of the time. Um, and there's a lot of people that struggle with following the plan.
It's
But it,
easy.
and it, and,
Well,
and
not
it
easy
doesn't
one,
and
common one.
it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how dumbed down I get it
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like the dumber I get it down, the dumber they make it. Yes. And I'm saying that the
Yeah.
biggest joke possible because it's not how I really feel. But sometimes I think it's like this self-sabotaging behavior. And maybe that can roll into the next podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can talk about self-sabotaging behavior
Yeah.
and maybe some of the root of that. Um, but I think that's common.
Not be able to follow the plan.
And I think um, it, I'll say this. Um, I think the one thing that I've had to do with people who don't follow the plan is provide enough evidence that they need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like even blood work, they're like, "Meh,
It's not enough because
don't care."
they can't see it.
Right.
You got to get creative. Here's what I've done.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
So sometimes it's really nice just to get a GI map done because they see the red and the green, and then if all you see is red, then you're like, oh, I actually have a problem that I actually need to address that connect to these symptoms that I've been talking about that cause this headache or constipation or estrogen dominance,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that's a common thing that I think if somebody new is listening, this is a really hard concept because you have to have like the utmost trust for a person when they come to work with us. And like Trey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think we're like the most trustworthy dudes around, but that's just my bias.
I try to be.
You know what I mean? You, me, Austin. I think we're about as above board as we can be. So when when people don't trust and they got these self sabotaging behaviors, um, I would just be very open to the evidence.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what they need. Yeah, I don't know.
What,
That's
what,
just something that popped in my head
yeah, I
here at
think
the
that
end.
is, we're talking about, me and Austin were talking about it. And maybe uh, Jeff and Eric brought it up. I think maybe that's how it came up. Here's what we were talking about. The question was like, what do you do with slow seasons? That's what someone asked in the Q&A. And we didn't say post-mortem. He said, you just gotta keep doing what you're doing. But we kind of went into like different stuff with him. And we were joking. It's like, hey, you only probably have like 5 to 10% of your clients you can actually post. Um, and the
Yeah,
other ones, you kind of have to find something you can.
yeah,
But what I do, I try to ask a lot of questions and call out things. I'll give you some examples. And this is how I guess trustworthy you can go into it. Um, if we're looking to the trust stuff, I think part of it is trauma, and it might not be
yeah.
fitness trauma. It might be coach trauma.
Coaching trauma. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I
pretty
think
common.
that is part of it. I know we see it all the time. I think the other part is the plan is too complex.
Hundred
I
percent.
gotta simplify it. So what I will do with a lot of people is I will pick three things. Sometimes I might even do one. I'll say these are your three non-negotiables. And it will be, I want you to walk a mile 3 times a week outside. It can be spread out through the day. I don't give a shit. That's 2,500 steps. That's all I want. I want you to do that. I want you to eat one serving of protein, one serving of fruit, and one serving of veggies. Don't measure it. Eat as much of it as you want. You can eat whatever you want the rest of the time. And then I want you to drink X amount of water. And it might be, let's say they drink zero or
12 ounces.
yeah, it might be like, hey, I want you to drink 32
Yeah, so
ounces of
you've
water.
taken it to the extreme then.
I go as
Yeah.
extreme as I can, and I'll get clients. And they're like, wow, this plan really let me down. Like, this isn't what I want. And I'm like, well, guess what? This is the beauty of this plan. You decide how fast we progress this plan. Because trust me, I want you to make progress. I
Boy,
want
do
you
we.
to possibly send referrals or be able to share your story. I want to be able to shout you out. I want nothing more than to feel rewarded and feel trusted that you allow me to help
Yes.
you. So if you can follow it, this is going to go great. Then in the next couple of weeks, you should be on a full meal plan and everything. But I have no joke, had people now. for two plus years that can't even do that. And we rinse and repeat, and I keep repeating, repeating, and repeating. But that
Yeah.
is one way I might simplify it. Another way is asking the questions. So, like, um, let's use like a
Drawing
health.
more introspective
Yep.
stuff.
Why do you do this? If you know, and I've gotten deeper, and I try not to get too deep into the mental stuff because I'm obviously not a therapist, and
Um, that's pretty
I'm
much
far
all I
from.
do over here, though.
Yeah, you're way better at it than I am. But I'll ask them. I'm like, if you know XYZ does XYZ to you, why do you do that? Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. So you know for a fact if you do this, it causes this result that hurts you. Yes.
Right.
So does that mean it's okay that do you think it's okay that you're hurting yourself? How would you feel if you had a son or a daughter? Would you want them to be intentionally hurting themselves? No.
Oh man.
It's like, cool. So now we know that you're making the voluntary decision to hurt yourself. Now we need to dig deeper. Why? Well, I just don't feel like I'm worth it, or because of this, whatever reason. That might be something else I'll do.
Yeah,
Another
Don
thing,
Don did that to me. I gotta introduce this because this is kind of important. So there was one day she was telling me about Landon, and Landon was, talking negatively about whatever his performance was at school or something. And she looked at him and she said, "Don't talk to my little boy like that." And he like looked at her like, "What?" She's like, "I love him, and you don't get to talk to him that way."
yeah,
And I remember like being like, "Wow, that's actually a really great thing to say to somebody that you love who's kind of self-sabotaging themselves right now." And then it was like a week later, and I'm like, "Man, I have just hooped in the bed and rolled in it. Like I was
yeah,
beating myself up." And she's like, "Don't talk to my husband that way."
yeah,
And I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, you're right. Probably shouldn't do that."
yeah,
Because when you get upset because somebody talks bad about your husband, it's not a good look.
yeah,
I don't want to be a part of that. Like she gets real riled up if somebody doesn't talk nicely about me. I'm sure Val's the same way. It's like the
yeah.
mama bear comes
Well,
out.
so if
She's
I
like,
do that, Val makes me call out five things about my good things. And if I
ooh.
don't do that, she tacks onto it. So
Oh,
like my therapist does the
I
same
love
thing.
her.
Yeah, my counselor
I
does the
love
same
Val.
thing. Like she always is into the inner child stuff. She's like, you are the adult now and you're bullying your little self. So like that might be a deeper thing is like, well, why are you doing it? Asking questions. Another way is you brought up like the lab work. I have a client now. Um, I won't get too deep into it, but they said, I know this does harm to my body, but I don't feel it right now because I'm on these meds. And they said it's hard for me to stick to a plan. It's easier for me to stick to a plan when it comes to losing weight and losing body fat. They're not in a place because of what is going on that is not the priority. It should be the opposite at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, cool. Well, she got a pretty in-depth voice note. And I said, well, here's the ways that you can see your internal health. Because you're saying it's hard to follow a plan when I can't see things. Here's how. Those sores and wounds that you have infected because of your skin issues, that's your internal health telling you is an issue. The fact that you can't get up and walk a certain distance without your heart rate jumping up because there's some deeper stuff in there. That's your internal health. You can see that that's causing an issue. The fact that if you eat XYZ, your stools are all bloody, that's your internal health showing you
Mm.
that there's an issue. The hospital bills that you have from going to the hospital, that is a way you can see your internal health is telling you things are not
Mm.
okay and you got to follow it.
Mhm.
And I will get pretty deep. And that's kind of where we get to the end of things. Like, hey, listen, it's either do or die. You follow the plan or you don't. And that's kind of where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Though, and I will get deeper than there. And those are kind of the stages. So if you notice, I go simple.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Okay. Now I've got to ask questions and get logical. And it would be like, and the one that Austin taught me years ago is like, cool, you know, XYZ does this to you. You know XYZ would help you make progress over the long term, and you want to do that. And I would ask, hey, does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Can you follow the plan? No. It's like, okay, well, now we've got logical. You still can't make the decision to follow it, even though I've painted you a clear picture. Now we're at ultimatum.
Yeah,
Now there's
that's
clear
how I am
things
too.
where you're putting yourself at risk and you're making the voluntary decision to not care
And
about
I shouldn't
yourself.
care more about your health than you
Yes.
do.
So those are a few different things. I think the easiest thing everyone can do is start simple. And I'll be transparent with me. The morning routine I'm doing, or what I told you last week, I'll it came up on the podcast. Why are you in Austin not training? Why are you not working out? Why are you not doing this? Because it's hard for me to put myself first. It's easier for me to put all the clients and other people first because that is where I am in the state of my life. I don't want to compete. I don't have the urge to be 230 plus pounds anymore. That's just,
I
it
do.
doesn't feel good. I feel like crap.
Yeah,
So
I love
for
it.
me, it's like, okay, I'm going to pick three goals I can do. It's walk X mileage of day, make one social media post every few days or every day or whatever. And then I'll pick a third one based off of that day, depending on what it is. If it's Monday, it's like, okay, I'm going to get through XYZ today. If it's Wednesday, maybe it's podcast, or maybe it's like today was haircut. I'm going to make sure I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to
Hmm.
start there. And it's like I told you and I told Austin, and I've told Valerie, in 2 weeks, once I can do that every single day,
You'll add something else.
I will add something to it. But example, last week, obviously after the wreck, I was behind on work. It didn't feel right to make posts on social media and not be working.
Right.
It doesn't feel right. It's ethically not wrong. And I'm supposed to be resting. So I didn't do what my goals are. So what does that mean? We start back from square one. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
now it starts now. You're going to do those three goals, hit them for 2 weeks, add another. And it's the same thing with clients. Hit this water goal, have a piece of protein or a meal, um,
Yeah.
have a walking goal or whatever, or take one supplement if they need it. Once you can do that for 2 to 4 weeks and replicate it, let's add another. Let's habit stack because progress is results is more than progress. Results is mastering the habits necessary to create progress and repeat it over and over and over and sustain that for years and years.
Hmm.
This is the difference between doing only results driven coaching and having results driven, but also maintainable, sustainable progress for years to come. So they don't need
Yeah.
you and I the rest of our life, even though that's not a great business model. Um, that's at least what I would do if someone's not following their plan.
Yeah, that's what I do in the basics too. And sometimes, like, man, I've had a couple cases where you just ride the wave with them for 6 months. And, it's like we might have more touches or more calls or something like that where they feel like they're not on this road by themselves, but,
Yeah.
we're still trying to progress towards that very basic
Yeah. Or
approach or
maybe
whatever.
for them, and I'm sure you've had it. I'm sure you've had competitors that have fallen off. They've been on a
Oh
great
gosh,
fall.
don't
So
even get me
here's
started.
what the example I like to give people. I'll have clients they work with me and we'll be making great progress, and all of a sudden they stagnate. They're not making progress. They're maintaining because they're not doing their things. They're not doing their non-negotiables. They're not taking care of themselves. And they're like, they'll come to me, oh, I'm not making this progress. That's when I explain, like, listen, maintenance is progress. If you're not going backwards, if you're maintaining, that's
It
progress.
is. You
And
said something the other day on one of the podcasts too. I've had to repeat it to a couple people. Slow progress is progress, and like,
slow is
bro.
fast.
The other thing too is like change. Everybody wants this to be linear and it just be straight up.
It's this.
But even in my life, man, it's not even just up and down. It's sometimes like it's up and then down and then back and then
Yeah.
up and then it's like it's curving,
Yeah.
and it's it's a like the guy that I am today. You met me in what 2023 or the end of 2022 maybe. I think that's what it was. I
I don't
think it was
remember
the end of
when.
2022.
Yeah.
Let's just say it is.
Yeah.
I'm not even the same guy. You're not even the same dude. And like, it doesn't even look like it does
Yes,
to
it
me.
was
It does.
22. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't even feel like to me that it definitely wasn't a straight line. In fact, I'm pretty sure the line at some point did a sharp dive downward. And then I had to climb back out of that one.
Yeah.
So, it depends on the person, but it's the human experience. Everybody kind of looks at us as like these perfect people who do these perfect things. And we got, all this stuff nailed down. And it's like, bruh, I got life too, man. I got all kinds of stuff I gotta
We're
do. I gotta
humans,
prioritize.
and
Yeah.
slow is fast.
Yeah.
When it comes to anything, slow is fast, and that's how you have to remember it. Unfortunately, social media paints a different light. Um,
Yeah.
and that's why people like that. And it's like I agree, we all have things. I have clients all the time. They're like, "Well, why don't you do what I do?" And it's like, because that's not my goal, is it?
Right.
I don't have the same goals as you. My goals is
Right.
to provide for my wife and have a family and have our cats
Right.
and do that and help you
Right.
guys. That is my goal. My goal is to try to help an industry that I think isn't heading the right direction. And
Yeah.
I
I feel
think,
like we're pulling up, pull up, pull up, pull
yeah,
up.
that's my goals. My goals aren't to be the leanest guy. I stay in better shape than most individuals in the world. I'm not
Yeah.
morbidly obese. My health isn't nowhere near as bad as it was when I was competing and doing all the things. It's just I'm at a different point in my life. I wasn't picturing being here at 30 if you were to talk to me when I was 25. I was picturing I would still be competing and doing this and that. That was my
Yeah.
life. But when life hits you in the nuts and you want your my now wife and you want a family and everything else, I have to give up the things that are selfish. And that was a selfish thing. Now, business is still very
We
selfish.
might get you healthy to a point to where by the time you're 50, I get you back on stage. But you
Maybe.
know what? Here's the deal. If you come out of retirement, you gotta let me coach you.
Yeah. Get a pro card at the 70. I don't know if you'll be alive at that point, dude.
That's a good point. I might be in the dirt. I might be in the dirt. That's a great point. Man. Oof.
I might
We
be
both
pushing
have
you
we
around
both would
and
have to come out. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be in the home.
you'd
You
be
know,
like weekend at
you get
Bernie's.
mad at me and you park me in the corner and then push my brake down and
You'd
I'm
be
just
like
sitting there.
weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just the dead guy. Wow. Actually,
Um,
that's how I hope I entered the weigh-ins for my next competition. I want everybody to wonder who the dead guy is.
you can see like your kidneys, your liver. um,
Well, we've had a long podcast,
Sweet. No, this was
and
like
it's
million
good.
different things. I hope
Have Val
everybody
chop up like
clips of it.
several clips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta say, I still gotta do last week's and post it.
yeah.
But no, I hope everybody enjoyed it. It's a lot of rambling, got into a few different things. We'll do another one. I think it's Friday is what I have it down. Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I keep forgetting
Friday.
that it's Wednesday. Um,
Yep.
we'll record another one for the week you're gone, and then we'll figure out things. Maybe we can get a few different guests at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, I got actually a couple ideas.
I have one too. Their partner messaged me yesterday, so maybe do us a
Yeah,
favor.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Well, cool guys. Well, we'll get this updated or uploaded. Like, review, share it around. If you have any topics or anything or want to shoot the shit, just shoot us a message and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
All right.